Are you really going to ask such a stupid question? Listen, they started this yesterday. It's all about funding. It's all about funding. Well, obviously, it's not about funding. The train was going twice the speed limit. Adequate funds were there. No money's been cut from rail safety. And the House passed a bill earlier this spring to reauthorize Amtrak and authorize a lot of these programs. And it's hard for me to imagine that people take the bait on some of the nonsense that gets spewed around here.
Yeah, well, there he is, John Boehner today, talking to the press. And joining us now is Susan Ferrechio, Chief Congressional Correspondent at the Washington Examiner, panelist on the McLaughlin Group and Fox News Channel. Hello, Susan.
Good afternoon. Good evening.
It's always great when John Boehner, gets a little angry and off the cuff, and he says actually what I consider to be the right thing instead of yelling at Ted Cruz for making him shut the government down.
Yeah, this was an interesting question, though. It's about funding for infrastructure because right now the Congress is debating that not only in their annual spending bills, but there's a reauthorization that's required on transportation spending that's more longer term. And so both of those bills are under discussion. And that's why the whole question of Amtrak is so important right now. And that's why you have Democrats trying to use the accident of the other night to propel their argument that we need to spend more money on our train system, because if we did that, arguably it would be safer. And what Republicans are saying is we've given them all the money they need for safety. I mean, what you didn't hear, what Boehner didn't have time to talk about, which is that Republicans have long believed, many Republicans, that Amtrak has misspent the billions and billions of federal dollars that have been given to them. And so there's been always an effort to try to reform Amtrak, not necessarily give it more money, but put in more accountability measures to try to make sure that the money is being spent on improving things, such as the Northeast Corridor, the most used train line anywhere in North America, and it needs lots of work. So Democrats are saying, look, if we just spend more money, we can fix the infrastructure issue and try to make the rail safer, get rid of some of those dangerous curves in the track. Both sides are making arguments that are, important, but I think overriding all of that is the issue of how Amtrak has spent its money over the years, and certainly there are big questions about that, and I think that needs to be part of the debate.
Absolutely. And of course, yesterday, Stephen Israel, blasted the Republicans, and we had Nancy Pelosi saying that the Republicans are against Amtrak. You wrote that. You also wrote about Boehner's remarks. But it's kind of an analogous to Susan to saying that. Baltimore, look at Baltimore, and they need better education because, 60 or 70% of the kids who graduate high school or whatever don't graduate, can't read. So we need more money for their schools. Well, they get the second biggest amount per capita in the nation per student, and it's not working. It's not working in the first amount in Newark either. So it's not always about more money, more money. Like you said, it's allocation of funds and how you use that money.
Right, and it was interesting yesterday is a lot of the media, you heard the speaker talk about, the media taking the bait, and I think what he meant was there are a lot of media outlets who use that headline. The headline was the House Republicans cut Amtrak spending a day after deadly crash. I mean, doesn't that sound just horrific that they would cut spending? But you have to look at the finer details about why they did cut the spending. A lot of people think that Amtrak should be privatized, that it would operate more efficiently, it would operate more safely, and it would operate more financially sound if they had a private company running it instead of now where, there's one scandal after another in the train company where they're not spending money the right way or they're just blowing it on things that make no sense. Look at the Acela train where they built the cars. One congressman was telling me they constructed the cars in a way that don't allow the Acela to go at the adequate speed. What a waste. And so now they need to buy new cars for billions of dollars. It's things like that, I think, that Republicans are frustrated with. And of course, you have the regional issue. There are a lot of lawmakers who are not from states that heavily use Amtrak.
Right.
And naturally, they're less inclined to want to spend money on it. And that's nothing new in terms of how Congress operates.
No, you're absolutely right. All right, quickly, we have 30 seconds. The NSA bill, of course, the NSA, the Congress passed the bill, yes, the House did, Now it goes to the Senate, where it might face the opposite. What's going to happen with the Patriot Bill and NSA in 30 seconds?
Well, it's going to be it's an interesting debate, because I think there's a lot of people in the House who like that reform bill. It passed very easily yesterday. Now it's over in the Senate, and you have Mitch McConnell, the majority leader, who doesn't want to make those reforms. Neither do some of the other top Republicans, including the Intelligence Committee Chairman Richard Burr, who say to make those reforms is essentially to gut the NSA surveillance program. They don't like it. That's where it stands right now. So what's Mitch McConnell going to do? We're all kind of waiting with bated breath to see how he's going to do this. I think he'll put the bill on the floor and allow maybe a debate on amendments.
All right, Susan, thank you very much. Tom Tancredo's next, folks. Don't go away.